Hello and welcome. My name is Roger and this is your daily tarot map for Sunday, July 5th, 2015, using tarot to create the life you want. Well, I hope all of my American friends enjoyed their holiday yesterday. I had a wonderful time as well, spending time with family, but now it's back to work. So first off, I want to thank you for sharing these videos, for liking them, for subscribing to this channel. As always, I really appreciate your support. So, it's Sunday, and as promised, we begin working with a new deck for the coming week. And that deck is the Shadowscapes Tarot, created by Stephanie Pui-Mun Law. I hope I pronounced that correctly. The Shadowscapes Tarot is an intricately designed fantasy-themed deck, incorporating symbols from beloved fairy tales, myths, and folklore. Now, it's quite a stunning deck, and each card is brimming with detail, so I hope you enjoy our work with it in the coming week. So, on to today's draw using the Shadowscapes Tarot. The three cards drawn randomly from the deck today were Justice, the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Swords. So the first card in our draw, Justice, represents exactly what it implies. It symbolizes the justice in our lives, and as such, can sometimes point to legal matters. It usually tells us that justice will be done and that we get what's coming to us for good or for ill. But justice is also associated with decision-making. Just as a judge or jury decided a matter in a courtroom. In today's draw, I see the need to make a decision, but it's not a decision to be entered into lightly. The Justice card requires that you weigh all sides of an issue carefully before making a decision. And at the heart of this decision is, well, the heart, as symbolized by the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is a card of love, of emotions and feelings. And situated next to Justice, I see it as an indication that when deciding on anything, we mustn't forget to include the heart in the equation. We need to take into consideration the feelings of every person involved in the matter and how our decision will affect them. Now, if it's a personal decision that we're talking about, it's important to listen to what your own heart and intuition are telling you. There's a great potential for happiness here if you choose wisely. But given that Justice is a card of balance, we must include not only the heart, but also the head as well, as suggested by our last card, the Ace of Swords. And it's interesting to note that the Ace of Swords is often associated with justice. And I've heard the sword in the Ace of Swords card referred to as the Sword of Justice. Now, this is a card of intellect. It's reaching a fair and balanced decision based on brain power and a focused mind. It's taking the reasonable approach. So sometimes when making a decision, we are torn between the heart and the head, what we love and what our mind is telling us we should do. And herein lies the challenge. So if you find yourself in a position today where you need to decide something, make sure you take both of these aspects into consideration if possible. And maybe there's even a possibility for compromise in which you can include both the heart and the head in the final decision. It never hurts to ask. Now, I will say this. Whenever an ace appears with Justice, I consider it an extra blessing that is telling you that there's a good chance that things will go your way. And in this spread, we have two aces with Justice. So maybe that idea of compromise is more of a possibility than you might think. So the message today for these three cards is, if you base a decision on both the head and the heart, then you never need worry where your feet are taking you. If your head is rational and reasoned, and your heart is full of love, you're on the right path. So today's advice card comes from the Chronicles of Destiny Fortune cards, and the card drawn randomly from the deck is number 7, Whispering Hall. You know, in light of today's reading, I was a tad surprised by the appearance of the Whispering Hall card, as it's a card associated with self-doubt, worry, and insecurity. But after a bit of reflection, it actually makes sense here, given that some of you may be on the verge of making an important, even life-changing decision. Now, when many of us make a decision, we often worry about whether we are choosing wisely. Like, is this the right decision or isn't it? But that's the fun of life. If we choose wrong, we can always try again. Now, what's important here is that you don't allow doubt or fear to paralyze you. Now, judging from the cards, it's time. This isn't a time for fence sitting, but rather a time for acting. You know, if you take a logical, rational approach in this process, ensuring that you don't leave out the heart, then you've approached it in the best way possible. And this is what I call right decision making. And what more could you ask for? And that is your Daily Tarot Map for today. If you liked this reading, I'd really appreciate it if you click the like button below. And visit my website at tarot-dude.com if you'd like to book a consultation with me, or purchase an email reading, or just learn more about my work. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Brightest blessings.